In the next few minutes, you're about to find out why the truly rich people in this world talk less about money than your broke uncle who gives unsolicited crypto advice at Thanksgiving. Because honestly, when it comes to the ultra-rich, we've all wondered, what exactly are they hiding? Well, that's literally what you'll learn today. By the end of this video, you'll be armed with secrets rich people guard tighter than Colonel Sanders' chicken recipe. But first, let me paint a picture so you can fully understand. Imagine this. You're at a fancy cocktail party desperately pretending to understand what entrepreneur means when suddenly someone whispers, "Want to know how rich people really stay rich?" Spoiler. It's not about skipping Starbucks runs or cutting Netflix subscriptions. There's a whole secret game they play, and it's time you knew the rules. Let's begin. Secret number 1, money loves silence. Question. Ever wonder why billionaires rarely flex their money online? While your cousin's boyfriend with $400 to his name is posing with stacks of ones on Instagram? The answer is simple. Because real wealth whispers, it doesn't scream. Showing off wealth attracts envy, lawsuits, and broke relatives. Usually all three at once. Rich people know the loudest thing in the room isn't the winner, it's usually the emptiest wallet. Now, before I explain why, you need to understand that genuinely wealthy people understand the importance of stealth wealth. It's their way of staying under the radar. Flashy cars, expensive watches, or showing off stacks of cash attract attention, but not the good kind. It brings unwanted eyes and unexpected headaches. It's a bit like wearing a neon sign saying, "Hey, come and sue me," or "IRS, audit me." Instead, rich people quietly accumulate assets and investments that don't scream, "I'm loaded," but rather whisper subtle confidence. Ever heard the saying, empty vessels make the most noise? Exactly. Rich people avoid becoming that empty vessel at all costs. They prefer being quietly powerful, comfortably invisible, and silently influential. It's the art of being wealthy without needing the validation of others. The loudest flex in true wealth is no flex at all. Flashy Lambos attract thieves, financial and literal. Meanwhile, stealth millionaires rock Uniqlo hoodies and swipe black cards nobody sees. But hold on, what about how they actually make all that quiet money? This next one might surprise you. Secret number 2, they invest in boring stuff. A few years ago, I realized that rich people love boring investments. Real estate, index funds, utilities. Things less exciting than watching paint dry, but more reliable than your Wi-Fi when rent is due. While you're busy trying to time the market with meme coins named after dogs, they're getting richer every month, quietly, predictably. Because the only thing exciting about losing money fast is telling stories at parties. And that's a party the rich skip entirely. Think about it. Rich people invest heavily in real estate because property doesn't vanish overnight like your friend's crypto wallet after a bad tweet. It's tangible, reliable, and can generate consistent cash flow through rent. Index funds? Sure, they're about as thrilling as watching your grandma knit sweaters, but guess what? They're stable and historically profitable. And utilities like water, electricity, and gas companies might seem mind-numbingly dull, but they're essentials. People will always need them. The wealthy recognize this basic principle. Stability beats volatility every day of the week. They prefer investments that steadily grow wealth rather than bets that explode spectacularly, sometimes in the wrong direction. Now, speaking of boring, here's another yawn-inducing tactic that's secretly brilliant. Secret number 3, debt is their secret weapon. Newsflash, debt isn't always bad. Now, I know this might sound surprising to some of you, but just hear me out first because nobody explained the difference between buying a flat screen with credit and using debt to buy income-producing assets. Rich people borrow money to make money, like turning $1 into $5 instead of buying 5 overpriced coffees. They treat debt like a sharp tool. Handled correctly, it's powerful. Handled poorly, and well, you lose a finger, financially speaking. But there's a caveat to all of this, so let's get something straight right now. Rich people don't just take on debt. They strategically leverage it. They borrow at low interest rates to purchase assets like rental properties or businesses that generate income, paying back the debt with the profits earned. Imagine borrowing money at 3% interest and investing in something that returns 10%. That's like borrowing $100 from your friend, making $200 from a lemonade stand, then easily repaying your friend and pocketing the rest. It's not magic, it's math. And it's a method wealthy people have perfected. They understand clearly that debt, when managed wisely, amplifies wealth rather than destroys it. By the way, if you're still watching at this point, I just want to say that the Stealth Wealth Channel's goal is to provide you with the life of financial freedom you deserve, instead of a life of mediocrity. Make sure to watch the full playlist and subscribe to the channel to stay updated on all of our upcoming videos. But before you run off getting loans like candy, you have to hear this next secret, because without it, debt could bite you back harder than a poorly trained poodle. Secret number 4, cash flow is king. One of the first things I tell you in our Financial Freedom series is that rich people obsess over cash flow the way fitness influencers obsess over protein shakes. It's their lifeblood. Why? Because cash flow is freedom. If your income streams consistently outpace your expenses, congratulations. You've broken free of the paycheck-to-paycheck prison. It's like having a money tree in your backyard, except instead of leaves, it grows independence and dignity. The problem with most folks is that most people trade hours for dollars. The wealthy trade assets for more assets. Picture a game like Monopoly. You're basically hoarding $200 pass-go payments while they own Boardwalk, Park Place, and your childhood dreams. Assets, real estate, dividend stocks, IP royalties, keep rolling the dice for them even while they sleep in $4,000 pajamas. Here's a little fact you may not have known. Jeff Bezos made more in one day of 2020 than his first yearly Amazon salary. Why? Equity, not hourly. Speaking of assets, guess what rich people never let control their financial decisions? Secret number 5, emotions don't make decisions. Math does. All right, look, here's a fact colder than your ex's heart. Rich people use calculators, not feelings. Emotions are to investing what gasoline is to fire. Explosively bad when things go wrong. When markets crash, they don't panic sell. Instead, they calmly pick bargains off the floor like discount shopping at your favorite store. Math never lies, but fear will empty your pockets quicker than your kid at a candy store. Let's put this another way. When the market dips, average investors see disaster, while rich investors see opportunity. Wealthy investors follow predetermined strategies based on numbers and logic, not gut reactions. Ever tried grocery shopping while hungry? You end up buying everything except what you actually need. Investing emotionally is exactly like that, impulsive and costly. Rich people set clear financial goals and strategies, stick to them meticulously, and let the math guide them to wealth. It's disciplined, rational, and ruthlessly effective. Ready for something else that sounds totally backwards but is secretly genius? Secret number 6, they spend big to save more. Keep in mind what I'm about to tell you. Rich people understand something crucial. Sometimes the cheapest option costs more in the long run. They invest in quality, good accountants, excellent lawyers, durable assets. Because cutting corners often leads straight to financial doom. Ever bought a cheap phone charger that melted overnight? Exactly. Here's what changed everything for me. Wealthy individuals view spending money as a strategic investment rather than an expense. Sure, hiring a top-notch accountant might cost a bit more upfront, but a skilled accountant can help you save thousands or even millions in taxes over the years. Not only that, but buying sturdy, high-quality products means they last longer and require less frequent replacement, saving money over time. Not only that, but rich people also pay for professional advice and guidance, understanding clearly that expert insights prevent costly mistakes. Think of it like preventive maintenance on a car. Small, regular payments help avoid huge, unexpected repair bills. It's about looking beyond the immediate price tag and assessing long-term value, durability, and returns. Now, since I've gotten several comments on this topic, I often get a recurring question. What do rich people not spend money on? Well, that leads me to our next point. Secret number 7. Rich people avoid lifestyle inflation. Here's a funny truth. Rich people often live way below their means. They don't upgrade cars every year or buy houses bigger than their egos. They keep lifestyle inflation, the silent thief of wealth, locked out like a shady relative. Anyway, let's get back to the point because the quickest way to go from rich to rich-ish is to start spending every dime you make. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is that lifestyle inflation happens when your expenses creep upward with every raise or promotion. Suddenly, you're making 6 figures, yet feeling just as broke as before. Rich people sidestep this trap by consciously maintaining a modest lifestyle. Sure, they can afford luxury, but they don't let their spending habits dictate their financial decisions. They prioritize investments and savings, consistently funneling extra income into wealth-building assets instead of depreciating liabilities. By resisting the urge to keep up appearances, rich people ensure their financial independence grows steadily over time. Speaking of hidden strategies, ever wondered why rich people seem obsessed with keeping money offshore? Secret number 8, taxes aren't optional, but they're negotiable. I'll discuss this topic briefly because I've already talked about it in previous videos. Rich people have tax strategies more complex than your last relationship status. They legally reduce taxes using corporations, deductions, and yes, sometimes foreign accounts. It's not shady, it's strategic. Understanding taxes can mean the difference between owing money to Uncle Sam or owing yourself a vacation home in Hawaii. But there's actually more to it than that. Wealthy individuals spend considerable resources learning and applying tax laws to their advantage. They utilize legitimate tools such as LLCs, trusts, and offshore accounts strategically, not to evade taxes illegally, but to optimize their tax efficiency legally. For instance, creating an LLC allows business owners to deduct expenses, reducing taxable income significantly. Offshore accounts might sound dramatic, but they're just another legitimate way to diversify and safeguard wealth internationally, benefiting from favorable tax treatments offered in certain jurisdictions. Rich people also proactively plan their tax moves, rather than reacting at the last minute, ensuring they maximize deductions, credits, and other opportunities to minimize their tax liabilities. In other words, taxes are not an afterthought. They're a carefully choreographed financial dance. Want another secret that's even simpler and just as sneaky? Secret number 9. Rich people keep quiet company. This is a rule you need to understand. Ever heard, your network is your net worth? Rich people surround themselves with financially literate people who push them upward. They trade ideas, not gossip. You'll rarely catch billionaires sitting around complaining about gas prices unless they're buying the gas company. Every big deal you've ever admired started with a phone contact, not a cold email. Rich circles share deal flow like grandma shares gossip at Thanksgiving. Just look at a woman like Oprah. Oprah didn't bankroll Weight Watchers alone. She phoned a board member, snagged equity, and boom, $150 million paper gain in a weekend. If you've been following me for a while, you already know something very important, and it's this. The wealthy choose their friends wisely, choosing to associate with individuals who inspire smarter financial habits, better decision-making, and new opportunities. If you're constantly around people who think small, it's nearly impossible to think big. But if your dinner conversations casually include topics like investing strategies, tax loopholes, and startup ventures, your mindset shifts without even realizing it. They avoid toxic drama, pointless arguments, and energy vampires because they know these distractions cost more than money. They cost time, focus, and opportunities. Instead, they create powerful ecosystems where collaboration, innovation, and strategic thinking are the norm, not the exception. Hanging around the right people doesn't just boost your mood, it multiplies your money. And finally, here's the one thing rich people will never openly admit, but it's the real game changer. Secret number 10, time is their true currency. Please listen to me carefully because I want to give you a golden piece of advice. Rich people don't chase money, they chase time. Every investment decision is about buying back their freedom, not shiny things. Because time, unlike money, cannot be replenished. They'd rather hire out chores than waste precious hours cleaning gutters. Why? Because they know time is the ultimate asset. Once spent, forever gone. This is one of the things I mentioned to you in our previous video. Wealthy individuals measure the value of activities not by how much they cost, but by how much time they consume, and whether that time could have been better used, creating more wealth, building relationships, or simply enjoying life. They ruthlessly eliminate tasks that drain time without providing significant returns. Outsourcing, automation, delegation, these aren't luxuries, they are necessities. Time allows them to think bigger, plan smarter, and act more strategically. In the end, the rich don't just spend their money wisely, they spend their minutes like millionaires too, because deep down, they understand. Money can buy many things, but it's worthless if you don't have the time left to enjoy it. Listen, now you know the playbook the wealthy use. Secrets they've held tighter than grandma's cookie recipe. Money isn't complicated, people make it complicated. And remember, rich people might never tell you these secrets, but I always will. As a matter of fact, there are actually 15 assets that are constantly making the rich richer, and we break it down step by step in this next video. Just click the video on the screen now, and we'll see you there.